Okay, welcome back everybody. Sorry for the noise there. I have my spray booth going. What I'm going to be working on right now, I've got my parts primed, all set to go. Just a quick thing on fixing your parts to something. I just use generally blocks of wood, and all I've done here is hot glue my part to the wood so that I never have to touch my part. I can just hold on to the block, do all my airbrushing, my painting, and clear coating, whatever it is I have to do. So that's just a quick idea of how I do that. Or either the other way, these parts I have pinned, so I just have my clamp attached right to the pin, and same thing, I can do whatever it is I need to do. So what I'm going to be working on first is the clothing. The movie Underworld looks like she's wearing pretty much like black latex. So what I'll be using right now is Tamiya paint. I love airbrushing this, it's real good. The one thing to keep in mind, the difference between flat and gloss, the X colors are your gloss, and where it says XF, that's your flats. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you're using Tamiya. I like to use their lacquer thinner. I find it works best with their paints. Now this one I've already thinned, so what I normally do, I'll just open the bottle and I'll fill the rest of it to the top with the thinner, close it up, shake it, stir it up real good, and usually I'm pretty good to go. So since I've already got it thinned, I don't need to do that, but what I do need to do is stir it up real good. I've already shaken this, but I just want to check and make sure that my I just call it drip rate is what I'm looking for. And generally, as long as I'm dripping off pretty good like that, I know I'm pretty well thinned and shouldn't have any trouble in my airbrush. Clean that up real quick. So we'll go ahead and get started. Got my airbrush, and just for this base coating, I'm just using a cheap, I'm trying out the Wada Neo. It's a very reasonable priced airbrush. I think Hobby Lobby, it's like $65, and you get 2 cups. This is the larger cup. This is a gravity fed double action airbrush, which means all the paint goes in through the top, and basically it's just falling down. Gravity, it's double action, push down for air, pull back for paint. Pretty simple. I've got my airbrush, my compressor set at about 15 pounds. I find that for me, that's what works best with the Tamiya paint. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it in, get going. Now I just try to wipe off as best I can. Set that on the side. Now before I actually start on the figure, I want to take a couple of test passes. Okay. See where I am. Okay, then go from a line, fairly thin line, to pretty good line. Now the thing is, I want to be able to control it without splatter, okay, or running. So I think we're pretty good right there. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Make a few passes. Let's see what we can have here. First coat, I'm just going to do kind of a light mist. And I'm not really worried too much about overspraying. Because what I'm going to end up doing is sanding in between here. And actually, it looks like I need a little bit more pressure. There we go. Get into all the areas. And we'll switch up real quick. Alright, here we go. Just enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside, put this under, usually what I'll do after I spray or prime or anything like that, I'll put everything under a Tupperware container. I'm going to get my brush cleaned out and let this dry real good and be back.